cancers before something is done. Can you hear me?
We are dying in Western Pennsylvania. Everybody here has families, has children and grandchildren that are dying of cancer. I have 3 members of my family that are dying or have died of cancer. Everybody here has members of their family that are dying of cancer. We want to know why you won't come talk to us. We want to know why you don't want to find out what is causing the cancer.
Shame.
We have a law in the state of Pennsylvania. A lot of you don't know about it. It was passed when I was a member of organized labor of the Steelworkers Union. It's called the Pennsylvania Chemical Right to Know Law. Every citizen in the state of Pennsylvania and every employee has the right to know every chemical that these companies are working with. We need to demand Governor Wolf and demand John Fetterman do an immediate investigation and reveal what these chemicals are that are killing our relatives and killing our families and our friends. And if he doesn't come to Western Pennsylvania and he continues to refuse to meet with us, then we need to come back here. And you know what? We need to come back here with 3, 4, 5 times as many people as we have now. And then if he still refuses to meet with us, we need to sit down right here and make it impossible for him to come in and out of here until he sees us and talks to us and answers us. I am tired of going every week to babysit my son's kids because their mother has stage 4 cancer. 35 years old. She has 2 young kids. I'm tired of this state not upholding our constitutional right under Article 1, Section 27, to the right to pure air and clean water. And I'm tired of these politicians turning their heads and acting like we don't exist and our children don't exist. It's time to put a stop to it, people. And if they ain't coming to us, then we're going to keep coming back to them. Thank you.
I will try and be as loud as he is, but I may be a little bit emotional because this is something emotional to me. And the fact that I have to speak through a doorway is completely disrespectful of the families that are going through this. It's like a spit in the face, which is a criminal crime in the state of Pennsylvania. So just think about how that feels. Let me paint you a picture. You're a parent. You've just gone to the doctor to get your child's test results. Now the doctor tells you your kid has cancer. You now have to digest this. And you have to realize all of the things that your child's going to go through because of the cancer. Then you've got to realize all of the things that the treatment is going to cause to your child.
I'm gonna move on to the other side.
And after all of that,
Sit, stand.
you've got to go home and tell your other children that their sibling is going to die because they have a terminal cancer. What are you going to think? Why? Why my kids? Could I have done something to prevent this? What could I have possibly done in another life to have this happen to my children, to my family? Now, if you don't think that that resonates with you and you just can't find 1 ounce of understanding in your gut about this, think about you coming home and your parents telling you that your youngest sibling has cancer. And you have to watch them take their last breath, knowing that you will never see them again, ever, unless you visit the site where their Now you think there's nothing I can do except for wait and hope. But you've got to do more because you just can't sit around and act like nothing's happening, like some people are doing now. So you start to think, what's in our water, our air, our food? Our skin is the largest organ in the body. So what's in our environment and what we eat will completely change the way our body deals with things. As a mom, I always wonder if I'm doing the best for my children. I have grown and learned and will be open to more learning. So this is my hope for today, that the people that represent us in government, the people that we may or may have not voted for, will choose, finally, to do the right thing. It may not be easy. It may be really, really hard. But you have to choose to do right by the people, instead of choosing to do right by the companies and your pocket. I know that no one is perfect. I'm not perfect. But I would love for people that make the mistakes to own up to them and start fixing what they have caused. I teach my children that all the time. You can make mistakes, but own up to them and do better. Fix the problem. There's a reason why other states like Vermont, Washington, New York have banned fracking. Some, they don't have a lot to give as far as fracking in the gas and oil industry. Others have realized the ramifications on the public health and the environment. If those states can do it, why can't Pennsylvania? I'll tell you why. Because at least 3 of the state representatives have ownership stakes, collect direct or indirect income, or do business personally with the gas and oil industry. They're making money off of these industries while supposedly serving the public. That has to be at least a major conflict of interest. If not, it should be made illegal because they can't work for the people if they're working for these companies and making money off of sick, dying children. Between January 1st in 2005 and March 2nd, 2012, the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection issued 10,232 drilling permits. Also thanks to Corbett. I'm going to add his name in there. Only denying 36 of the requests. Now in the charts given to us by the Pennsylvania Department of Health at the Calumet School District meeting in October, they showed that Ewing sarcoma and childhood cancers spiked in 2005 to 2017. Their charts also showed that bone cancer rose 125%. But this doesn't seem to be enough to be concerned to them. What is 125%? Did they obviously learn on the new math system that they're teaching our kids in the education system? I mean, because we know that's failed. How is it that companies, these fracking companies, can make and use these chemicals and we do not know them, they're not made public? We've just learned, if you didn't know before, that's our given right, is to know what they are putting into our environment, and yet somehow they get away with it. How is it evident that they have been caught tampering with testing, so they were trying to prove that they are completely okay and everything's safe for us to be using, but yet they have to tamper with it? Why? Because they're scared, because they know what they're doing is wrong and they still choose to care about their money instead of the people. Now they say jobs have been brought to Pennsylvania, but they're bringing people from outside Pennsylvania, making them Pennsylvania residents, and then they're getting the jobs. So people in Pennsylvania are still left without jobs. And that was thanks to talking with Tim O'Neill at the Calumet School Board, or the Calumet meeting in October. How many children and young adults, or adults for that matter, have to die or get sick before they start to care. I'll tell you, when their families and their children start to get sick because you can't run from the environment, when you've killed the environment, it's going to kill all of us. No matter what job you get, you can't provide for your family if you're dead. And that's what's going to happen if we don't get answers. I will speak louder. We, and if it's not me, I want answers. And I want answers now. Give us the truth, not some political answering where you don't really answer us. No pivotal answering. We want testing, proving that what we all know, that what's going on is killing our families, and it's not okay. I'm asking you to choose to do the right thing and stand by the people that put you in office, that help get you a portion of your paycheck that's not paid by these companies. Do the right thing for the love of God or whoever you choose to worship. Please just do the right thing.
Thank you.
Governor Wolf, my name is Janice Blannock. I'm from Cecil Township in Washington County. My son, Luke, battled Ewing sarcoma for almost 3 years. He was 19 when he died on August 7, 2016. I don't know what caused his cancer, Governor Wolf, but however, taking into consideration the high number of rare cancers in Washington, Greene, Westmoreland, and Fayette counties, 68 now, because there's another new one as of the other day, 6 of which were Ewing sarcoma in the Cannon-McMillan School District. It should seem obvious to you and to anyone with an ounce of common sense, sincere, heartfelt concern, and true courage that we need to be looking at environmental triggers. Can you hear me? How many children in our communities will be diagnosed with these types of rare cancers before something is done? Archbishop Desmond Tutu, winner of the Nobel Peace Prize, said in an article in The Guardian, and I quote, "We live in a world dominated by greed. We have allowed the interests of capital to outweigh the interests of human beings in our earth." After my son Luke was diagnosed, he listened to a speech from Jimmy Valvano every day. Jimmy V's message was straightforward and strong. He said, "Don't ever give up. Don't ever give up." And Luke never did. And when my husband gave his eulogy, he said, "Luke never let dying get in the way of living." So let me tell you, see my face and hear my voice, because I too will never give up until I know for certain that his death and all these other children's cancers were not caused by something environmental due to all the known carcinogens in the fracking process. Governor Wolf, if you choose to ignore our pleas for an investigation, an environmental investigation, there will be long-term negative effects on the health of our children and grandchildren, as well as our communities and the environment. So just because something is accepted by the standard of this world, follow the right path, even if you do it alone. Do what's right. And I'm inviting you to a tour of the southwestern Pennsylvania frack land tours. See what havoc they're wreaking on families all over southwestern Pennsylvania. See it for yourself, and then you tell me what's right and what's wrong.
Thank you.
I come before you as a father whose 22-year-old son, Mitch, is afflicted with a rare bone cancer called Ewing sarcoma. He has been in treatment for almost a year since his diagnosis on December 27, 2018. And this treatment includes aggressive chemotherapy, surgery to excise his right collarbone, 5-day-a-week targeted radiation for 6 weeks, and who knows what the long-term effects of that is, followed by several months and rounds of debilitating chemotherapy accompanied with indescribably nasty side effects, in which he stated that he'd rather die. Our family has kept a positive outlook as we have become way more acquainted with the hospitals than we wish. However, we are faced with the sobering reality of the low survival rate for advanced cases of Ewing's and the high probability of recurrence, a fate undeserved by anybody, especially our youth. At best, this challenging journey will be life-altering, as he already lost his collarbone. At worst, it will be life-ending, as was the case for his classmate Luke, whose mother previously spoke, and for 2 of Luke's nearby neighbors, Kyle and Kurt. These 4 young men I mentioned comprise 4 of the 6 cases in the Canon-Macmillan School District in Washington County over the past 10 years. 6 cases in the Canon-Macmillan School District, a population of 35,000, over a 10-year period, calculates to be about 220 times more than the occurrence rate throughout the entire U.S., which is 250 cases per year in a population of 325 million. I have lived in the area for all my life and never heard of Ewing sarcoma before 2010. To the least curious among us, this rising occurrences of cancer are suspicious. Washington County is in the southwest corner of the state. Neighboring counties are Greene, Fayette, and Westmoreland counties. The occurrence rate of Ewing's and other childhood cancers in the 4-county area has been just as alarming over the past 10 years. Thanks to the investigative journalism of David Templeton of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, we now know that there have been at least 27 cases in the rural 4-county area. I'll update that to 28 because we just heard of a 13-year-old afflicted with Ewing sarcoma in Westmoreland County this Wednesday. In this same 10-year period, natural gas extraction using hydraulic fracking has ramped up exponentially. In Washington County, which is the county in Pennsylvania that has the most operating fracking wells. When my son was first diagnosed, local leaders, including Canonsburg Mayor Dave Crone, Representatives Tim O'Neill and Jason Ordate, and Senator Cameron Bartolotta, with cancer experts from Pittsburgh hospitals, state DEP officials, convened a meeting with afflicted area families for an information and action meeting in April of 2019. From that meeting, the state Congress people were able to secure a $100,000 grant for Ewing's sarcoma research, but for genetic research on it, not on the cause of Ewing sarcoma. Also from this meeting, the Congress people organized a meeting on October 7th of 2019 with the Pennsylvania Department of Health for the officials to discuss their findings in their investigation if the local statistics rise to the level of a cancer cluster. Remember, 220 times the national average. I am grateful for the efforts of our local representatives. However, the presentation of the Department of Health left a lot to be desired. Their data was outdated and wrong. They left half the cases off the list. They focused on just the Canon-Macmillan School District, not the whole 4-county area. My perception of that presentation, I could see the bureaucrat saying, there can't be a cancer cluster. I don't want to fill out all that damn paperwork. There is no known environmental or lifestyle cause of Ewing sarcoma. The operative word there being known. It is probably not known because it has never really been investigated, given the rarity of the disease. To the curious epidemiologist, an occurrence rate of 220 times greater than the national average in such a small geographical area should be a perfect opportunity to investigate and search for plausible links to this devastating disease. The more knowledge we gain of this situation, the closer we can come to preventing it. Don't let more of our children be afflicted by this without a serious epidemiological study. Our federal government can waste $40 million in 2 years on a politically motivated special counsel investigation based on suspect origins. We, the people of Pennsylvania, can put forth the resources and talent necessary to research what environmentally may be causing this epic rise in cancer cases. Governor Wolf, I invite you to my home in Washington County, North Main Township, which until recently was my little slice of heaven. And you can see within a 2-mile radius 4 separate well pads. And if the Department of Health can't see reason to investigate with this data, somebody has their eyes shut. And they're probably being paid to keep their eyes shut. Thanks.
Call on his Department of Health to begin an investigation into cancers diagnosed in all counties where shale gas drilling, fracking, and infrastructure build-out has occurred. This is a public health crisis that requires immediate and significant action.
Oh, it's the governor. Governor Wolf is here.
And that process is almost completed, and we believe we will have an update on that in the very near future once some of the details are ironed out. But
We want all further permits halted until we know for sure.
ma'am, thank you. I just want to let the family speak. To
Okay, so we want all permits halted.
Thank you.
Like, it's not going to change depending on who says it. Do you don't even know who I am?
Passed away from doing sarcoma. One of the boys from the Canada wants to I invite you to do a tour of southwestern Pennsylvania fracking tours to see exactly how fracking is wreaking havoc on our kids, families, our homes, everything. You have to see. You can't even understand what we're going through. No, you can't.
I also want to give you these. These were from the Pennsylvania Health Department. Their slides. 125% increase in bone cancer, but that wasn't significant enough to do anything. Said word from the Department of Health that they put the slides up. 125% in increase in bone cancer is not significant enough? Is that significant enough to you?
Yeah.
To do something? So you're going to make it an effort, not an effort, you're going to make it your mission
Yeah.
to do something, yes or no?
Yes.
To change this.
Yeah.
Commit
He said it.
Panamac,
He said it.
or Washington County, and this is for Ewing sarcoma. This is for childhood cancers.
I want to tell you, this is out of date. My son, another gentleman from Harrisburg, they were diagnosed 2018. So their statistics aren't even tallied.
And their numbers are flawed.
So add 2 more in on that. And then last week, a little boy, 13 years old from Westmoreland County, another Ewing's. We have 28 cases now between the 4 counties.
Okay.
And what's the statistic, Dave?
200
250
a year normally diagnosed.
Throughout
throughout the whole U.S.
And we have that
And
many.
68 rare cancers in that 4-county area.
A lot of childhood cancers.
Rare pediatric cancers.
The dates coincide. When you look at 2005 to 2017, that is when the 10,232 drilling permits were issued in the state of Pennsylvania. And coincidentally enough, 2005 to 2017 is when you see the big booms in cancer and the high rate of bone cancer, which is part of Ewing sarcoma.
Okay.
So can you clearly see that there's something happening? And you're going to make it your mission to change this for the families that have dying children.
First, I want to make sure that we have do the study that you said that you want a date for. And I think you're right. We should do that.
Okay.
Do you
So
receive
you're-
PAC money from any of the gas industries? Do you receive money from them?
Did you just receive contributions during your campaign?
Not that I know of, but I mean,
Not that you know.
Not that you know of. Shouldn't you know who's contributing to your campaign?
Plenty of thousands of dollars or
no, I actually turned down contributions from the gas industry. You seem like you know something I don't know.
Governor, I'm a pediatrician in southwestern Pennsylvania. These are my people, these are my families. People are really getting hurt badly by fracking. There are other legacy sources of pollution, but fracking today is really hurting people very badly. It's tearing the communities in southwestern Pennsylvania apart. We really need some leadership to put a stop to this until the information comes out and we feel confident with the science. And the other thing is that fracking for plastics support of that is climate change denial. It's nothing less than that. And you can't have it both ways, making fracking and making plastics and trying to solve the climate crisis. You can't have it both ways.
Governor, one other thing. I know I'm a union man. I was a union man for 36 years with the steel workers. You don't have to tell me about the job situation you're dealing with. My right to clean air and water is protected under the Constitution. And what's more, the state of Pennsylvania, we, organized labor, passed a law in 1984 called the Pennsylvania Chemical Right to Know Law. We have the right to know what chemicals these companies are using. And until we do, you're not going to be able to do an effective study. If they throw Article 11 of this, trade secrets thing at you, that's not superseded by the Halliburton loophole. This is a state law. We have the right to know what chemicals. You are the ones that should be demanding these companies turn over to these families. And I'm one of these families. I got two nieces, and I got a daughter-in-law that's got stage 4 cancer. They're all in their 30s. 30 years old. They're not even going to get as old as you or any of us. We need to find out what these companies are putting into our food, putting into our water, and putting into our air. And you're not going to have an effective study until you do. We're asking you, please do it. Because if you don't, I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to have a citizens army out here that's going to dwarf the lobbyists for the oil and gas industry.
Prior to 2008. So from 2008 until present, what's going on? What has changed? This is what we want to know. We want an investigation, an environmental investigation.
Governor, over $1 billion from Act 13 has come to this building, and not one penny is spent on impacted residents, from water contamination, air. There's your money for the study. It's already there. Take it back, put it into place. We thought that's what we were getting with impact fees. All of us. Yes.
We worked for you, we elected you.
You can do this. You can be the hero of the story. You don't have to worry about re-election. The next 3 years can be your campaign to find out what's causing this, wherever it leads. We don't care where it leads, and stop it. And these kids are counting on you to do it. There's no reason to go to school if you're going to die at 9 years old in a hospital of cancer. But thank you for coming out here.
Thank you for coming. I'm going to have to go to my next meeting, but thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Come on a tour, Governor.